Hi, I'm Harriet Michel, the retired president of the National Minority Supplier Development Council, NMSDC as it's known. I've been retired for 15 years, but I was the president of NMSDC for 22 years. So I've been involved in supplier diversity for a very long time. I began working with CAMSC before it was CAMSC, as a matter of fact. I began working with the founding director of CAMSC, whose name was Oren Bin. And Canada, CAMSC was in fact the second international affiliate that NMSDC created. Our first was in Brazil, and our second was in Canada. Well, why Canada? Because of geography, obviously, and location. Many of our American corporate members had offices and locations in Canada. Also, why Canada? At the time when CAMSC was started, there were modest efforts to assist indigenous businesses. But CAMSC was an important step in connecting them with corporate contract opportunities. And also, Canada's progressive immigration policies were attracting increasing numbers of visible majorities. So it seemed proper that we open up our second international affiliate in Canada. And really, in 2004, the efforts were small and scattered to reach out and to develop indigenous businesses. But I think there was a growing recognition that the economic health of the indigenous community was important to the health of Canada. So we provided an avenue by creating CAMSC with Oren. We created an avenue for indigenous businesses to receive a funnel, if you will, to a place where they could go and receive specific help and get directed to specific corporations who were interested in doing business with them. And then, as I said earlier, with the growing tide of immigration, many of the immigrants arrived in Canada with ambitions of being business owners. And once again, CAMSC was the natural place for them to gravitate to as they tried to make their way through the morass of corporate procurement. So it has provided that avenue in the 20 years that it's been there. It's a formal, structured way for indigenous and visible minorities to develop their businesses and grow their businesses. In the next 20 years, I'd like to see CAMSC develop broader and deeper influence in both the public and the private sectors to affect policy. I mean, it's noble and wonderful to assist individual businesses, but what you want to do, you want to broaden your impact by having those kind of relationships, both in the public and private sector, where you can affect policy, where more people can be helped on a broader scale. And I'd like to see them over the next few years, as I'd like to see all minority business agencies to emphasize an assistance in the growth of larger MBEs. Corporate, many, and I'm sure you realize this, many of the businesses that come into the supplier development councils are small and trying to look for a toehold in the corporate marketplace. But in order for us to be, as organizations, representing minority businesses, we've got to focus more on what corporate America needs, and that is they must have larger and more sustainable minority businesses that can meet their contemporary business needs. And that's not to the exclusion of helping the little guy. That's always going to be part of CAMSC's mission. But to make sure that those those firms that are certified by CAMSC are able to grow and be real supply chain partners to their corporate members and their public members becomes very important. I'd say the fight against affirmative action and DEI in the US and increasingly around the world, we stand on the brink of regressing, of losing those gains those economic gains for minority communities that we fought for and won over the past 50 years. There must be a recommitment to equality and economic parity on the part of government and corporations, our partners, for minorities. We must fight for this like our very future depends on it, because you know what? Our future does depend on it.